Hi guys, it's Jan Trey. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I finally decided to discuss what I've been learning from drawing every day for 2 years as my first video, specifically drawing comics. Anyway, I chose this in my first as this is an amalgamation of topics that I will discuss furthermore in future videos. Also, this is a great way to introduce myself as a comic creator. Initially, it wasn't an easy feat at all, as I was in the stage of struggling whether to pursue drawing comics as a career or just simply as a hobby. When I finally decided, that's when I started drawing every day up until the present, which makes it 2 years already. I started my comics last 2018. I posted it just this last March of 2020 in Webtoon Canvas. Let me tell you that what matters the most wasn't the art skill or the storytelling skill. Not that it isn't important, of course, that's important, but before anything else, it is to strengthen your mindset. This is especially important in the digital era where our creations are out for the public eye to see. We are surrounded by amazing professionals that are way ahead of the game, younger ones that have way more skills than you do, and even those who we may consider an amateur but are way more popular than you do. There's always a reason to feel insecure and to feel that you are not yet good enough to share your works for everyone to see. Having a strong mindset, which entails knowing and accepting your flaws and focusing on your strengths, not minding other people's opinions about you and your work. Knowing your goals and how to get there, and many other things. It is a skill, it's not a personality. Art and storytelling is not only the important skills in making comics that you should consider, but also having a healthy relationship with yourself first and foremost. It is a difficult skill to learn, much more difficult than art and storytelling, I must say. Okay, next is related to making comics, and that is self discipline over motivation. I actually want to do a separate video about this to elaborate more, but I'm including it here as this is really the main reason how I am able to draw or make my comics every day for 2 years. It's about making it as a habit rather than relying on something as fleeting as motivation alone. Motivation is unstable. Not every day do we have motivation to draw, make comics, do storyboards, and write dialogues. It doesn't mean you don't rest or do it like your life's dependent on it, but making it as a habit just makes you feel like your day isn't complete when you don't do it. So in the end, you just do it. The amount of time does not matter. If there's a task, a job, or situation that you need to tend that is more crucial than doing your comics, do that first. What if you're the breadwinner of the family, working 40 hours a week? Or you're doing school projects, or maybe you're studying in university and you're working on a thesis and you can only allot 30 minutes every day to draw, or maybe not even every day. Maybe you can only draw once or twice a week, or maybe you can, but you want to allot a rest day or days, or you want some family time, or you want to hang out with your friends. It does not matter. The time does not matter, the age doesn't matter, numbers doesn't matter. I can totally understand. I made this video not to make you feel bad about not being able to draw every day and put myself on leverage, because let's be real, we all have different lifestyles. It just so happens that I'm currently in a situation where I could focus on doing my comics every day because I don't have a heavy responsibility like some of you do. Drawing every day does not matter. It's not a must. You do it because you love doing it, not because you're forced to do it. Enough to make you feel bad because the professionals you've seen do it every day for 10 hours, and now look at them at the top of their game. Making it as a habit doesn't have to be every day. If it doesn't work for you, but considering making comics as part of your lifestyle, then it becomes natural to incorporate it in your life when you allot time for it is enough. Some of you might not even want to become a professional comic creator or artist and just do it as a hobby. That makes a difference too. It all comes down with essentialism. Drawing every day without a goal isn't great either. It's like you're going on a path and you don't know where to go, but it's a road, so maybe it will bring you somewhere. What if you're a beginner artist, or you've thought of a story and you want to make a comic out of it? You don't know what to draw, you don't know where to start. Drawing every day won't work. You must also know what are your goals. And you know what you need to focus on in order for you to be able to list out how you're going to reach your goal. Drawing every day for 2 years has been teaching me to form a habit in drawing my comics, Monochrome Paradox, by facing myself despite the risks. You don't have to follow what I've been doing by drawing every day for 2 years, but be aware of how are you going to reach your goal without making yourself suffer in the process. Thank you guys for listening and watching me draw my comics. My comics is called Monochrome Paradox, and it is available to be read in Webtoon Canvas and Tapas. You can also follow me in other social media sites. Links are available down below in the description box. I'll be posting more videos in the near future and will be discussing topics related to arts and making comics. Thank you guys. Don't forget to be kind to yourselves. See you.